Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, good. Hey, can you see the charts? No, yeah. I think they've updated their software and it's monkey food. I don't know what it is. Let's try this again. The rain in Spain falls mainly on your plains. Dude, you had the charts, right? You did see them. I hit record, they went away. You're supposed to see them now though, right? You had them, but not now. Just weird. As soon as I hit record, they just disappeared. So let me stop sharing. Let me close that app. Let's close that. Click that button again. Sorry. Okay, it's loading again. Full screen. Yes, yes, yes. Come on, trading. Quiet. Okay. Got them now? Oh, wonderful. Well, oh, and you know what's gone now is the YouTube video. Oh my God. Anyways, I guess we'll just skip that. Life is great. Life is grand. Life is good. Life is beautiful. Oh, you gotta give it all you got. Gonna get what you give. Boom! Welcome to Forex.Today. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, however, is not necessarily indicative of future results. So please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne McDonell. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. I do these strategy sessions every Monday through Thursday here at Forex.Today, and every Friday at FX Street, where I'm also Forex Speaker of the Year. I did a presentation, Trading on Farm Payrolls live on Friday. Anybody there? We had 800 people registered. Cool. Nice. And we nailed it on that stock market thing, huh? Down up to 55, up off the double bottom to the higher high into the pivot point, like to the point, top to bottom, bottom to top, boom. And the other part of that presentation was, you know, I see an opportunity to buy the stock market, right? It's the only thing we talked about. So anyways, open up a trading account at TradersWay. I'll help you, bro. So anyways, so look at the gap today. The whole cusp of the presentation on Friday was long, and then we're up here. I know, it has nothing to do with, you know, technical analysis. It has really even nothing to do with the fundamental analysis. It has to do with the FBI saying that Clinton's not guilty of doing something bad with her email. But boom, hey, lucky dog, right? The harder you work, the luckier you seem to get, right? So anyways, up. Cool. Look at this, up off of, right, up, down to the 21. Should be up, you'd stink. We're ready for a rally. Timing is uncanny. Yeah, you know, I don't know, what are you going to do? The weekend opened and something happened over the weekend. Yeah, yeah. So today we're supposed to do a lot of fundamental stuff. We should probably just skip it. Okay, whatever's on the calendar, the election in the United States is more important tomorrow. And then we're going to like master debate about it all Wednesday, and you know, I don't know. It's just it's going to be a mess, right? Don't you stink? Like we talk about it intelligently and logically, but isn't it just going to be like complete emotion? So I don't know. So I mean, we will. I'll go through it. But how about this? I want to get to a little point here. Have I taught you how to trade a gap? Where the heck is my mouse? Mouse. There it is. Yeah, and how do you trade a gap? Well, the issue on the timing of gap fills, you know what? If you're truly doing a gap fill strategy, it should fill fairly quickly. Some people are like, they look at it as if it filled, you know, 3 days later. And to me, that's not the same sort of thing. It may be true, it might have filled that gap, but it would be true for other reasons. I'm talking more about scalping. And I know on the TradersWay YouTube channel, I guess it would be, there is a video up there. I just want to find it for you so you have it. Gap Forex trading. Maybe. I thought it was up here. Weekly trading, how to trade gaps in Forex. I guess I cover it there. I thought I did a shorter version, but anyways, it's there. How to trade gaps in Forex. It's by me on the TradersWay website or TradersWay YouTube channel. Okay. So let me get you that. And 10 seconds of it is the gap should fill and then can, but doesn't have to, continue mission. So if it gaps up, it'll retrace. It's not posting in here. It's not posting. I don't know why. I'm telling you, Flash is updated and it just sucks beyond belief. It just, nothing works. I can't even paste into this room anymore. So anyways, gap trading, how about, you could probably even type in Wayne McDonell, I don't know, COT, I don't know. But you might find, or you will find that this was, what, a year ago, 2 years ago? May 4th, 2015, that nothing's changed in my trading style. And there are YouTube videos that I did back when you probably first heard of YouTube. If you typed in Forex, I was the first 12 pages of YouTube. Yeah, I'm that old. Seriously, the first 12 pages of video results. I was number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. I was like the first Forex trader on YouTube. So anyways, there's stuff there from 2004 or 5, I think, before YouTube was even a company. It wasn't even it was a startup. I was like a beta tester. So you can find stuff of showing me trading from a million years ago, and you'll be shocked that I do exactly the same thing now as I did then. Why do Ed says, why do gaps fill? Well, nature abhors a vacuum, and it just, profit taking is usually what it is, Ed. So anyways, the stock market may be slightly different, and it gaps more often. Forex doesn't gap as much. Okay, but that's usually what it is. Now let me zoom in here. But we don't want a 4-hour on this one. Let's do like a 15-minute, might be. Okay. So it gapped. Let me get my drawing tool here. Charles Bond says, do most gaps fill, or is it a myth? You know what? Most, basically fill. Yeah, in my experience, I haven't done empirical data. I haven't downloaded tick data from the last 200 years of trading, but yeah, they generally do, and they've saved me from losing money, not just set me up for making money. So, yeah, I have relied on them in the past, and they generally do. Okay, yeah. So, anyways, here's where we were Friday, and then we opened here. Okay, and it dropped down here in the first 15 minutes. So let me get change colors on my highlighter. So the gap, this is the gap. You know what? Let's do black. I want it to stand out. Color black. Okay. So we were here, and this is how much it filled. Did it fill 100%? No. Did it essentially fill? Here's how much it didn't fill. Okay. Could you have been waiting and could you have caught in that? Yes. Now these black lines are fibs. That's a little confusing. I know. That's just from a previous trade plan where I put you long. Yeah, yeah. I'm expecting Cuban cigars for my Christmas present. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. All right, so anyways, so let's go back to here. This is the amount that it didn't fill. Okay, it's trivial in comparison, right? Check this out. Where did it gap to? Oh, the reversal pivot. Okay. When you are long and you've done a breakout, you break above a psychological level. What have I taught you to do during a retracement in a psychological breakout scenario? Charles Bunn says that was way too quick. Yeah, you're either slow or you're dead. Right? You're quick or you're dead. Charles, if you don't know how to trade it, then you're not going to be there. Okay, right? I watched that with my very own eyes. So you're either on it or you're not, right? That's it. You deserve it or you don't deserve it. It's no critical, you know, it's no criticism of your mother and your father, right? It's just you were there and you earned it or you didn't. That's it. No problem. You don't have to be there. Okay, so let me remind you that when you trade a breakout of a psych level, meaning you're going up through psych levels. Let's identify the psych level right here. Okay, you can see that it was important, right? In a regular scenario, even though this is not a regular scenario, but let's just say we've been trending and you broke above the psych level. What's the buy zone in this scenario? Give me numbers. Where's the green zone? Where's the buy zone? Exactly. George has got it exactly. High five, George. George, right out of the gates, boom. Between the 00 and the 80 is what I've taught you over the years and years and years and years. And that's about there. Okay? So, do you think it's a coincidence that we gapped up and and the gap occurred right on the weekly R2? Do you think that's just random coincidence? Like for 1 bajillionth of a millisecond, we went 1 pip above, but then went straight down, fell straight down off of that? Bear in mind, that's probably somebody's profit target. Okay? That's somebody's profit target. And that's why the gap tends to fill. Okay? But for those that were not in and watched the gap, What's the buy zone? 00 to 80. So for 1 millisecond, we went down 3 pips below 80 and then popped back up. This went 1 pip above for a millisecond. This went 3 pips below for a millisecond and then popped straight back up. Do you understand that there were buy orders here? There were sell orders here, and everyone else in the middle is a loser? Isn't that neat? Like, I'm trying to tell you that people knew what they were doing, or some people knew what they were doing. And it was preordained, it was predestined by where orders were. Kind of neat, isn't it? The sell zone is the sell zone. The buy zone is the buy zone. And it did what it was supposed to do. Even under crazy things like, oh, the probable, new president of the United States will not go to jail. Can you imagine? Like, we're still talking about this. And by the way, did you hear why Clinton was messing around with all these, random email servers and stuff like that, sitting in her basement? Did you actually hear what the report? Right? Don't worry about me, Charles. Do you remember, or do you know what the FBI report actually said? Why this was all happening? Hillary Clinton doesn't know how to use a computer. If you gave her a laptop, she wouldn't know how to check her email. That is why her staff did all of this stuff. I am not joking. It's like, it's a fact. That's what the FBI interviews were with all her staff and just multiple people and all this kind of stuff. She was getting advice from Colin Powell, previous Secretary of State, and Colin Powell says, yeah, I have trouble with all that kind of stuff too, so I just use a computer at home, right? So she's like, oh, so that's what I need. But then her staff set up this computer and she's like, yeah, I don't know how to use a computer. So she's been using a BlackBerry that she had in the mid 90s, and it was the type where you had the roller ball and a keyboard, and that's what she used to do email. I don't think it even had a browser yet, right? So when you give her a computer, she doesn't know how to use it. Well, they don't even make those BlackBerries anymore, so her staff were buying them on eBay, used ones. I am not joking, because she couldn't get her email on a PC. The only device in the whole entire world. And so they had to set up like an email server that it could log into and through her BlackBerry. And oh my God, the President of the United States doesn't know how to check her email using a laptop. Holy crap. What? And forget about PowerPoint. Hoy vey. Isn't that just like, isn't it? She doesn't know how to like use a browser. She wouldn't be able to get like Gmail on a computer. Wow. Wow, huh? Like, she's had 30 years to take a class, have her grandkids teach her a few things. I mean, oh my God. What world does she live in, huh? Yeah, I don't do things on the web. People do things for me. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like she's a dinosaur. So anyways, the whole point of the FBI investigation, or what they found, was it was not a huge conspiracy to like hide information and use her overlord Illuminati friends for stuff, and no, it was because she couldn't use a computer. Oh my God, Becky. So, anyways, yeah, that's it. That's the whole story. We went through all of this because she couldn't tell anybody that she couldn't use a computer. Now, the media doesn't seem to care, but I think that's funny. Like, if you want to have an entry level job anywhere, you need to be able to use a computer, right? Like, isn't it like you have to have basic Windows skills, maybe some Microsoft Office, right? So she couldn't get a job as a secretary, but she can be Secretary of State. Yeah. What an interesting life we live, huh? All right. All right. So let's go through this just because it's part of our routine. Keep them separated. You know, a lot of pigeons. Right. You hear the pigeon flying. Message from the president, sir. Oh my God, there's a lock on it. There's a secure message. Poor pigeon. It must be an African swallow. All right. So, anyways, yeah, Switzerland, sure, fine. Eurogroup meeting, great. What do we got here? Labor market condition index, consumer credit, like for like retail sales. Oh, presidential election. That'll be interesting. The Chinese data could be important too, but it's just like it's going to be overshadowed, right? Because right before, like right as this Chinese data coming out, we'll be learning who the president of the United States is, right? It'll just be like clear by that time. 9, 10, 11 p.m. is probably enough time. So do you think Merkel, May, and Hillary Clinton are gonna like get together in the red tent and like you know plan plan the plan the future for the world? Maybe get Lagarde. Lagarde should run for president of France. I think that's actually really cool. It's inspiring. My daughter's upset because she won't be the first female president of the United States if Hillary wins. But anyways, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, so there's that, and then wait, what? Why is this on here? That's wrong. It's on the wrong day. How funny is that? Yeah, no, it's on Tuesday. I can't be wrong on that, right? Yeah, that's tomorrow. I don't know what this calendar's thinking. All right, well, I don't know. Yeah, that's what you mean. Aren't they a day off of by that? I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. I wasn't even thinking. I'm like, I'm just reading the calendar, but yeah, that's Monday. No, the election's on Tuesday, bro. Okay. Inflation report, that's a big deal. Swiss unemployment, I don't think that's a big deal. I wouldn't call it a big deal. But yeah, this stuff is a big deal. Then the election, that's a big deal. So the Asia might actually be a good trade then. Also, just people getting in and out of positions before the election. This actually might be a good one. This might be an interesting little opportunity, skippy scalp, right? Last minute trades. No, it should be the same day, Charles. The info rolls in California and Hawaii never get the vote because it doesn't matter. It's already been decided by the time they're voting, right? So yeah, it's usually 8 or 9. If it's close, 10 p.m. We'll know who the president of the United States is. Okay. So like when it came down to Gore and Bush, the big deciding factor was Florida. Well, Florida, I mean, come on, Florida obviously reports before Hawaii does, or California, right? Can you imagine 25 million people actually feel disenfranchised from the actual process? How would you like to be thinking about, hey man, should I go out and vote? And the people on TV are already saying the winner is won. You know what I mean? Like, why should you vote if it's already been decided and you haven't even got off work yet to go vote? You know, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're like, oh, the new president of the United States. You know, they won all these eastern states, and they're like, well, WTF, right? And they're like, it doesn't matter, even if California votes the other way, there's just not enough electors and blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter. Yeah, yeah, it's not a good system anymore. I think it made sense 200 years ago, or maybe 100 years ago. But they really need to, and this dual party thing is nonsense. They really need to make some election changes. You know, some states shouldn't be caucuses and others are not caucuses and stuff. There should just be a uniform voting thing, and it should be populist. It shouldn't be electoral and all that kind of stuff. And so that even if you one dude in Hawaii, it still matters, right? Um, and it should be parliamentary. So we should have about 5 or 6 or 7 different parties, or a dozen different parties, not just polarized crazy Republicans with crazy Democrats and nothing in the middle, right? There should be tons in the middle. Most of America is in the middle. You know what I mean? But yeah. Oh, thank you, Lionel. So I'm going to run for president next. Yeah, next time. You guys can vote for me. Yeah. I'm going to cut the gasoline tax. I told you this one, right? I'm going to cut the gasoline tax. Do you think that would be good for, let's say, so one of the things I'm studying at Harvard right now is inequality, right? And my thought for the longest time, you want to help the average Joe that has to drive his truck to work every day? Cut the tax on gasoline. So it doesn't cost him as much to drive his pickup truck to work. Everyone benefits, right? Rich people, they take their helicopters and limousines, and they don't even know what the price of gas is, right? But But do you think that helps small businesses too, to have lower cost of gasoline? Oh my God! Genius, 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 right? And I would tax, and this is what people won't like. I'll tax alcohol and tobacco. People won't like that. People won't like it, but I'm going to use it to subsidize the healthcare exchanges. I know it. I know. It makes so much sense. I know, right? But I don't know. I'm just, you know, you'd think I'd be a supermodel, but I got the brain too. It's amazing. All right. So, anyways, let's go back to this Tuesday, blah blah blah. Wednesday, aftermath, aftermath. But New Zealand, let's make some money on the Kiwi, bro. Okay. Did you read the report on Nissan? They're getting killed in the United States on the strong yen. They're selling cars. They're practically giving the cars away, and they're losing money. Not because they're giving them away, but because when they bring the, I don't know, the yen is too strong. Yeah, so Ron says California wants to add $1.50 for cigars a month. That's a pretty high tax on something that, when I go to cigar stores, most people buy cigars that are like $7. So $1.50 is pretty high. Sometimes they'll spend $10. Very rarely do people buy, 15 and 20, $25 cigars. It's just too much, right? Oh, but for cigarettes, oh, I see. Yeah, for cigarettes, I don't know anything about cigarettes. But that's the thing. If it's an indulgence that you do once in a while, then it's not a big hardship, right? But for those that smoke cigarettes and are alcoholics and degenerate gamblers, you got to tax them because they're good income. You can count on alcoholics to buy more booze. You should tax the booze. Heartless, I know. Yeah, more Euro or German. Yeah, okay. So Germany, yeah, great. So we're going to trade Euro on Friday. I hope I'm selling Euro USD even before then. And the rest is, it's pretty light, right? It's a pretty light week. We got the election, and just before that, we got the Chinese news, which would be good, but then we'll very quickly fizzle into the pre-election jitters. Then we got the election all day Tuesday. There is the beast in there, or beast, just pig, right? Great British pound. This inflation stuff is important too, but I don't know how that's going to mix with the election results. And then Wednesday, probable aftermath, but I may be into Kiwi. The Kiwi dollar might be falling. But if the dollar's weakening because Trump wins, let's say, then yeah, we might be long Kiwi dollar, Kiwi yen. Could be. I mean, I don't know. Could be. It's one of these things like you don't even really want to predict what's going to happen. What you want to do is show up and like rub sand in your face and cold water on your face and look at your charts and do your best to see reality. In this case, like almost don't have a bias and very, very much make sure you use stops. You should do things like if the volatility is high, you should do something like, depending on the amount of volatility, make lots of trades that are 25 pip stop, 50 pip winners, what I call 25, 50 OCOs. If it's moving quicker than that and larger than that, cut your lot size and do 50, 100. But make lots of trades, and if your winners are bigger than your losers, even if you have, let's say, 50-50 results, you're still going to make money. If you can do better than that, if you can, if you have, 75% winners, which, if you're making, if it moves, let's say 500 or 600 pips tomorrow, you may along the way you're just picking up lots of these smaller trades, but you can if it's moving, you can do 75%. And then you make a lot. But what you're doing is you're looking to enter trades, and you're not even paying attention to the upside targets. There are no targets. What you do is you enter and then move your stop, and then find another entry, and then move your stop, and find another entry, move your stop. And you're not even looking. It's going up, for example. And your idea is it's just up, and the volatility is going up, and you're just managing the risk, but it's just up, and you're buying dips. Pop one on, drop the stop, right? Let's say 25-50 OCO, and then you're just, it should rise. If it falls, you get knocked out, and that's it. Don't worry about it, right? But if it rises, then you get the next pullback. You do another one, 25-50. And hopefully, it's going up, and every 10 pips you're getting knocked out for a 50 pip profit because you got multiple trades. And every so often you take, the pullbacks are bigger than the 25 pips, and you lose those. but you're winning at least 50% of them, for example. Probably better, depending on your discipline on waiting for pullbacks. But that's kind of how I would play it if we get the volatility. 1 minute 5 EMA. Yeah, I look at all time frames, right? So I pay attention. I'll start. For example, if there is an event where suddenly like everybody thinks Trump's going to win and the market goes this way and they're like, oh my God, Hillary's going to lose, right? At first, the market's just going to go, and I pay attention to where moving averages are on the 15-minute chart. I kind of a little bit pay attention to where they are in a 5-minute chart, but it's a lot less. And I'm just using price action as a gauge, or buy dips to roll reversals, buy dips to psych levels. But every time I'm buying at support. That's the number one thing. If it's going up, I'm buying retracements, I'm buying red candles, I'm buying red candles at support. That's it. I drop a stop. I know what the risk is every time I pull the trigger. Worst case scenario, I lose $250 on a 25 pip stop, right? And that's it. But I'm always at support. I'm always on retracement, and I'm going that one direction, and that's that, because the market told me that. And if the market collapses and they're like, no, Trump's not going to win, Hillary's going to win, and it reverses, and be careful, you will get that. Well, then I get knocked out of those trades with predefined stops, and I probably moved some of those stops already. Then you just like hold your horses and just say, well, I don't want to get whipsawed out here, and I don't want to start chasing rabbits and whatever. And you just say, I need a break. Okay, you see what I mean? But it's going to be mostly price action on top of like technical support and reversals. Support and resistance, I should say, depending on the direction I'm going. But I'm using psych levels, I'm using pivots, I'm using price action. Okay? And like the 15-minute 5A cross is just going to be, think about it, it takes 45 minutes to an hour to get that 5/8 to cross. Oh my God, it could move 500 pips by then, right? So clearly you got to use something a little more sensitive. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? You speak of the Deutsch? Can I get a hell yeah? Hurrah! Okay, let me have a sip of coffee, please. Talk amongst yourselves. Ron, I don't want to do that. Ron says I should be here live, but first of all, we don't know when the real results are left, right? We don't know when they're actually going to come out, when the big decisions are. So it could be 5 or 6 hours of just nothing, or choppiness and stuff like that. And also, what if I want to trade like a mofo? I mean, I got to take care of my family and stuff too, right? I mean, it's all fun and games while we're in London lunch, but I got to set some traps for rabbits, and I got to try to shoot a few moose, right? So, I don't know. I kind of just want to keep myself available to do what I'm supposed to do, right? Also, we are trying to wean you from the tita, as they say in some country, right? Where I want you to face the challenge of these high volatility situations on your own, so that you can at least say to yourself, and I'm really funny. I would make you write it out like a social contract or like a legal contract. Write it out on a piece of paper. I'm not joking. Pen and paper. And I even recommend in my book a marker so that you can smell the ink as you're writing it. And you write out a contract to yourself. Today, I'm going to trade in a particular way, and it's going to be like this. I'm going to use, OCOs. I'm going to pick a direction based on the let's say price action that the market is suggesting, and if it's bullish, I'm gonna buy pullbacks to support. Support being psychological levels and pivot points, and price action, type support. And you write this down in a contract with your stuff. OCO is one cancels other. Okay, but you know what I mean? Like, you put that there. You actually, no joke, write it out, because then it's in the top of your mind. The mind works funny. And the brain is a really interesting thing, because, as you know, you have conscious and subconscious and a couple of other things going on in your brain. Your ego, super ego, it's a very complicated world, especially if you're. No, I'm not going to say it. All right. So anyways, it's complicated enough. And forget the motions. Okay, there's emotions involved too. So you gotta. It's a very complicated thing. What you need to do is take your subconscious, and you need to move it to your consciousness, right? So, for example, I give you that advice, and you're like, yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good. And of course, you're not going to do it, right? Because subconsciously, you're like, yeah, that's good, I get it. But then you don't do it. You don't make it a reality. It's like all the brilliant ideas you've had that you haven't done, right? Oh, I could have invented Yahoo. You know, I actually had a roommate in college from Argentina. And he was, and I lived in the Silicon Valley. That's where I went to college originally. And Google wasn't invented yet. Yahoo was a startup. And so this buddy of mine from Argentina, he looked at it and he was like, oh my God, we need something like that in Spanish. So he built a Spanish Yahoo. It was a good idea. He did it. So he went back home to Argentina and sold it for $2 million US in Argentina in 1993. That's a lot of money for a 20-year-old, bro. You know what that is? $2 million US in Argentina in the mid-90s for a 20-year-old is like literally $1 billion. So, he had a good idea and he did it. Most people don't do stuff like that, right? They're like, great idea, but they don't never bring it forward, right? So I'm suggesting these silly little exercises, you just do it. I know it's silly, but it'll make you hugely successful. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of pesos, Rob, right? I don't think he does very nice, fun entrepreneurial stuff now, and he's been doing it obviously for, I don't know, 30 years. I don't think he's really ever had to do anything else. I think he just invests money into other people. Right? Good for him, right? He and I used to watch infomercials and critique them and take notes and then compare our notes. Yeah. So anyways, very entrepreneurial. So you should write it down, a business plan for how you're going to behave tomorrow with the election results. What you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, so on and so forth, right? The rules of engagement. And you'd be shocked if you actually carry it out. Guess what? You're becoming the trader you'd like to become. And isn't that the whole point of these webinars we do every day? We want you to become a better trader than you are now, a better trader than you were yesterday. Develop skills and change your way of thinking and change the way that you behave, right? Well, then when are you going to do it? What better than tomorrow night? So anyways. Okay? So change the way you think, change the way you behave. And if you don't, you're just delaying your inevitable, destiny. What if Luke Skywalker stayed on his uncle's farm? The Death Star would have ruled the universe. And we'd be slaves to the dark side. Think about that. All right. Everybody just got lost. What was that? All right. Shorty pantses. Not going to do it. Longy pantses, even less. and a big hesitation. Okay? Still net short, right? But it's not a good net short. Sure, we got some of the bulls out. And don't you remember? Don't you remember? I'm like slapping you in the face, like on this one. Do you remember? It's going up. If you're a bear, you simply find your two levels of resistance, which you want to short and all this kind of stuff. And has anything fundamentally changed? No, it hasn't fundamentally changed. I mean, right? Wasn't that the big cusp of last week's like topics over and over and over again? Well, anyways, yeah, there's not more bears, but there's certainly less bulls. Now look at Euro USD. Down, down, down. Yeah, but it's supposed to be that way. Right? I'm telling you, that's all we talked about last week. Euro dollar's going up. Great. Get ready to sell. If you're a bear, you simply identify levels of resistance and wait for reversal patterns. Okay? And I said sometimes you'll go days or maybe even weeks without a trade. Good. It's called doing your job. Okay, let's take a look at this. What do you think? Those are the bears. Huh. Here's the bulls. Net change, nothing. Okay, so this, what you're looking at, is the USD yen going up. This is price. Okay? Just, just amazing, right? Like, it's like just slightly less bulls, same amount of bears. Big thing is there's just not a big net change. Now, price is going this way, but just not a lot of changes in the nets, which is fine. Fine. It's fine. Let's go Aussie. Okay. Big change in the nets. Look how we were neutral a couple of months ago. Does it look like we're neutral now? No. Okay. Significant drop in bears and decent increase in bulls. That's a very bullish market. Okay, that's very bullish. That's a very bullish market. More bulls, less bears. Okay, that's the kind of thing. Okay, that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Kiwi. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan. There's a huge tendency to want to do that. Like I was saying before, you don't want to go in with any confirmation bias whatsoever. Okay, confirmation bias is you see what you want to see, and you see that, and you're like, blah. Trump is going to win, and you're making these assumptions, but it may not necessarily be true. So I would maybe not even watch TV or read the paper or get any headlines or anything. Maybe you just trade price action. And if Aussie dollar's going up, good. You know what I mean? Just unplug from the media, right? And just trade reality as much as you possibly can. And then also be ready for the whole thing to collapse on you. So you might make 9 winning trades in a row, long, and you think, now you want to change your plan from going from 25, 50 OCOs to 100, 1,000 pips at a time. And, you can make 9 trades in a row, and the 10th trade drops by 300 pips. And you're like, oh yeah, I stopped using stops or something nonsense. Just be ready that you're trading one way, the market's behaving beautifully, and then without warning or without any real technical warning, right? Without like your traditional reversal pattern, without a traditional consolidation, a report comes out on TV. And it's just counter to whatever's been happening. And the whole thing just collapses. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. Trade the price action as much as possible. Establish ahead of time what the stops are going to be so that when you enter a trade, you're not thinking about, okay, now where is this going to be and what's that going to be? Just say, look, I'm going to use the law of averages. Okay? If the average winners, if the losers are 25 and the winners are 50, and you win half and you lose half, what ends up happening? Half the time you lose 25 pips, half the time you make 50 pips. You make 25 pips every time. Right? You see what I mean? So just play like that. And if it collapses on you, stop trading. See, that's the other thing. If it goes up and up and up and up and then down, don't buy it on the way down. No. Use price action. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Not higher high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower, and you're like buying it all up and you're gridding the whole thing. And, just jump out the window, dude. Make sure the window's on the ground floor. But, don't hurt yourself. I'm just saying. Yeah. Jump off a chair. Get it over with. Yeah. I don't know. And then that sounds like, no ropes, are there, right? So I don't know. Just do what you're supposed to do. Okay? And that's why I want you to write it down. It's a contract with yourself. Don't be stupid. Don't throw all your training out the window. In fact, it's a test. That's all it is. It's a test. Can you do it? Right? Do you have the right stuff or not? Are you a winner or a loser? And I don't mean the number of pips you make. Okay? You know what I mean? So write it down so that you have a contract with yourself and you know exactly what you're going to do. So like I said, if the thing drops very quickly, you're not doing foolish trades. If it drops on a 5-minute chart and blows through your price action, okay, that sucks. But then where's the support on the 15-minute chart? Where's the next cycle level? Where's the next major pivot? And then get in there and say, well, on this first one, I'm going to need a little more confirmation to make sure that the uptrend continues and that this doesn't just collapse down to the next pivot. Don't buy it just because it's a pivot. Okay? Yeah, James says, let's have a few scalping sessions. Well, it sounds really exciting, but it's really boring because even when you're scalping on a 5-minute chart, you might make one trade every 30 to 60 minutes. You see what I mean? Like, it's really not that exciting. Okay. Unless it's like Brexit, but still, then that's unusual behavior. And let me tell you two things about it. Okay, and okay, it's not repeatable, so you can't make a career on it, right? Would you guys agree with that? A Brexit or S&B or political elections, they're not your standard operating procedures, punch in at the canning factory and put labels on cans type stuff. Like, that's what I mean. Like, trading should be boring. You should go to work, make some pips, hit your daily quota, move on.com, right? It should be really boring. These one-off black swan events are not what you make your career. Okay? Now let me ask you something. Is there a potential to blow up your trading account or have a very serious drawdown? Then like you asking me to get together, like, hey man, let's scalp it together during the election. I'm like, that just sounds horrible. What a right? What a dumb idea. I'm like, no. Why don't you, uh, you know, I don't know, go do yard work. Take your spouse out and tell them how important they are to your life. And you're thinking, yeah, I could be making a lot of pips right now, but I could more likely be losing a lot of pips right now. So this feels really good to be with an investment that is going to pay off. Think of it that way. Tomorrow night, make an investment that's guaranteed to pay off. Turn your charts off and spend time with a loved one. And tell them. Yeah, James, like just another way. No, I get it. I get it, James. But at the end of the day, it sounds more exciting than it really is. And very often when I do, here's me scalping. I go, click, and then I walk away. I go outside and I take the dog out for a pee and reload my coffee and check some email, and then I come back and I'm like, oh yeah, look at that, I'm up a little bit. Wonder where it's gonna, what the next pullback is, and like 40 minutes later, like boom, put another one in, and then I go away again, right? It's not as sexy and as exciting as you would think. It's just I'm buying I'm buying dips, right? So yeah, Lionel's calling me on it, huh? Hey, do as I say, not as I do, Lionel. Uh-huh. hmm Well, let me tell you, if you haven't been trading for 15 years, then take my advice. Let's just say I have concerns. Okay? I have concerns. I have concerns to be concerned about. That's all right. Okay? Yeah, and a lot of monitors. We got to use them, right? So, anyways, I don't know. Don't, worry about yourself. And I'm trying to teach this to my son too, right? Oh, his sister's doing this and his sister's doing that, and this kid at school's doing this. Like, dude, that's really nice, but you need to worry about yourself a little more. Don't worry about what the other people are doing. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it does make sense, right, Lionel? So, yeah. I mean, that's hardcore advice. Think of this: you just listen to a broker give you advice to maybe not trade tomorrow, so that you don't blow up your trading account or overtrade. Do you understand? Like, it doesn't happen. No, there's no other broker in the entire world throughout the history of time that actually gave you advice because they care about you. right? Think of that. Okay, and some CAD. It's all about oil. All right, so let's get rid of that. Uh, 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 uh. By the way, some amazingly good posts on Forex.Today, huh? Have you guys been reading them? Like weekly overviews and stuff? Really, really thoughtful analysis. And I appreciate the effort that you guys are putting in. I really do. Yeah. No, it's good, right? It's good. Yeah. No, but you're going to need it, right? If you want to be a success, you have to think about, well, what do successful people do? What do successful people know? And it would be those types of things. So, the effort you're putting in, um, you know, is possibly the important stuff that makes you a success. So, like, I'm reading about inequality, and they actually talk about Harvard. If you go to Harvard, you're going to be a success. Isn't that interesting? So, is it? And I was actually talking to my kids about this because I want them to go to good schools like this, and do you become? And I mean statistically, like you go to Harvard, you're a success, okay? And and I mean success in your career. You go on to make a lot more money than people that don't go to Harvard. They go to other universities, or they don't go to university at all. You see, and that's the this this differential in potential income, right? Someone that graduates from Harvard, or like me, get a master's degree from Harvard, is going to make a lot more money than someone that didn't even graduate from high school and probably has gauges in their ears and tats on their body, rings through their nose. I probably make more money. It's just, statistically speaking. But is it because you went to Harvard, or is it because you worked hard enough to be able to go to Harvard? You're hardworking and therefore intelligent. Um, another school near where I live here in Atlanta is Georgia Tech University, and I would say it's the number two engineering school in the United States. Okay, number two. MIT number one. Stanford's probably number three. Berkeley is probably number four, right? For engineers, right? And I'll give you an example. The local high school here around the corner, the valedictorian, perfect grade, A student, never got anything but A's in his whole time in high school, applied to Georgia Tech, and he wasn't good enough. You're like, he's the smartest kid in the whole damn school. He had perfect grades. Yeah, not good enough. Sorry, everybody is that good. What else do you got, right? Yeah, so I'm telling you, it's competitive. So, but that guy must be a great student and a hard worker and smart, right? So, if you go to a place like Harvard, is it because you got into Harvard that makes you a success, or is it because you went to Harvard and that you become a success? And it's kind of both, isn't it? Because people look and say, "Oh, Harvard, boom, we're interested in talking to you," right? Right? They call you up like, "You went to Harvard. We want to talk to you about a job." It happens to me. So it's an interesting thing, and I think it's a little bit of both. But I'll tell you about the inequality stuff since I'm studying this right now and writing a paper on it. It's better to be a dumb rich kid than a smart poor kid in America. So Texas is also who you know. Absolutely, it is, and if it's your daddy, even better. DeBeesta says Ivy League grads make an average of $1 million. Yeah, 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 yeah. You should go. Right? I highly recommend it. So I'm trying to tell my kids, I'm like, it statistically speaking, it could be the most important thing in your life. Like, if you work hard now and go to a school like Harvard, you will do better the rest of your life. That's it. It's just absolutely it. And the guy that wrote the book, Stiglitz, right, won a Nobel Prize. I mean, it's not like a propaganda thing, right? So, anyways, I don't know. It's yeah. Linus is a smart poor kid, yeah. But you know what? If you live in a place like America, you can get it done. You can get yourself educated. Maybe not a Harvard, right? But you can get an education. No one's depriving you of that. You can be better off, but it gets you an education from a regional university or something. Okay, so you can be a night manager at Taco Bell, but you can still be smart. No one's going to deprive you of being smart, and then you use your brains to go do something more interesting, you know. And if you got nose rings and ear gauges and tats, on your neck, you might not work at a bank, right? So there's that kind of thing, because you don't see too many people at Goldman Sachs with tattoos on their neck and nose rings, right? So sometimes you keep yourself poor because you live in a poor society and you live in a poor culture that reinforces its right. There are many poor cultures in America that will sort of disenfranchise you as a member of the poor community because you're smart, because you go to school, you read books, and they're like, you're not one of us. And you're like, but I don't know anybody else. I just want to get educated. Well, what? We're not good enough for you? You don't want to live here? You think you're better than me? And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I just want to go to school, bro. Right? And all of a sudden you get like a culture that reinforces itself so that you don't get ahead. And so, I don't know. Boy, these are tough problems. So you might as well just be rich. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. You have Forex in front of you. No one is going to discriminate against you because of your religion or your sex or your sexuality or your race. Nobody gives a damn in Forex. Okay? You buy the dip, you get paid. Right? You sell at support, you lose. Nobody cares about anything else. Okay? You do what you do. You have absolute total equal opportunity. Grow your trade account. You don't have to spend it. So here's where you deprive yourself. You want to get rich today or this week or this year. Well, it's not going to happen. Why don't you put yourself on a 20-year plan? I am not joking. Most of you here have 20 years left in your career. Just bust out a PowerPoint, or not a PowerPoint, an Excel spreadsheet, and do pro forma cash flow statements over the next 10 years based on small compounding gains. That's what I did when I first started my career. And you're like, Wayne, I don't know how to do cash flow statements using Excel. Then go get an education. You got 20 years to put it together. Learn how to trade Forex, lower your lot size, trade conservatively, and then go take a class. I know the president of the United States, right? Hillary Clinton doesn't know how to use Excel or even a computer, but you should be able to. Okay? And then put it together. And then start looking at it and make great money over the course of the next 10 to 20 years. And you're like, Wayne, I only got $1,000. Well, then turn it into 1,200, and then turn it to 1,500, and turn it into, 1,800, and then turn it into 3,200, and do that over the course of the next 10 years. You got 30 grand, and then the next year you have 45 grand, and the next year you have 65 grand, and the next year, you have 80 grand, and then the next year 100 grand, and then all of a sudden it's compounding so much faster, right? And at the end of the 20 years, you got $500,000 in cash. And maybe where you live, that's enough. I don't know. But just, something, right? You know what I mean? Just something. Put some reality in there. It doesn't. Dreaming is a very, very good thing, and I know we're all entrepreneurial here, and I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big thinker. I meditate all the time. I have 9 things going on, and I'm always organizing. I'm always analyzing. Oh, and then I go to school too. Like I'm always thinking, and dreaming, and have tomorrow and next week and next month and next year in mind, even though they're just abstracts, right? They're in my mind and I'm preparing for them. But then there's the reality, like what's going to happen today, what's going to happen now, what's going to happen in a millisecond. And you need to make that as real as possible. And that's why I do things like write it down. That's why you should give yourself more time to succeed. Generally speaking, people don't double their account and then double their account and then double their account and double their account. And then now you're rich. Think about it. Flip a coin, right? Flip a coin. Every time it's heads, you double your account, right? And see if you can do it 8 times in a row. Tails, you blow up your account and you're out. Okay? Yeah, Charles. Chuck asks, is this MT4? Yeah, that's MT4. So one of the things I'm trying to get to, guys, I'm trying to do this for you. And I used to have no time, and I have even no time, and I have less time than no time. I'm at the point where I'm even choosing the things I can't get done, and there are still things I can't get done. So, but anyways, one of the things I'd like to do for you, and I've done some reaching out to get it done, where I can give you my whole layout. And it would be like a software download. You open up let's say a live account to TradersWay, and as a bonus, you download an app that then checks to make sure you have a live account, and then it's actually you. So there's like a licensing process, right? And then what it does is we'll just take a blank MT4 and turn it into mine. Now, mine meaning clean and organized and not all this crap drawn on it, but like that you have all the indicators and all the templates and all the profiles, and you have a news thing here that's got the news set up, and you got your daily, weekly, and monthly pivots, and then this one would probably look like my day trading setup with sessions, like this, and it would just all be there, and that kind of stuff, and right. There's a little bit of trickery to it as far as programming is concerned. Not trickery, but work, like the licensing process and stuff. So if you withdraw your money from TradersWay, I'll have it shut off. That kind of stuff. But whatever. So I'm talking to the programmer and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is now I have to clean up all my charts and set it all up so it'll have. I don't have time. So. And then the sad thing is the markets are moving, and so I end up spending hours and hours and hours on some days where I'm supposed to be doing homework, and I end up trading when I'm not supposed to be trading. I have my normal trading hours, and I'm trading in my non-normal hours. But like I said, you got to make your pips, right? Pips come first, don't they? I trade on my vacations with my family. The pips come first. The kids want to go to like Disneyland. They're like, Daddy, come on, Disneyland's open. I'm like, not until after the market opens, right? Not until after I'm done setting up my trades. But everyone else gets there at 6 a.m. Well, we're better than everybody else. Don't you forget that. Hey guys, got to roll. Thanks for being on my team. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be crazy. Can't wait to see what London lunch will be like tomorrow. Just as the first polls will be coming out. Should be interesting, right? So, anyways, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yep. Whoop, whoop. Take care, huh? Thank you for being a client of Traders Way. And if you're not, go to tradersway.com and open an account today. Okay? Right? Don't be a free rider. Cheers.